These Bears are going to come in trying to run wild. All right, bottom line, stop the run. You're going to win this football game. Khalil Herbert, David Montgomery, Justin Herbert, they've all combined for 1,000 rushing yards, 8 touchdowns. That's the big storyline for the Bears coming in. They are, in fact, leading the NFL in rushing yards per game. So for the Cowboys, and going back and watching the All-22 of the Lions, Anthony Brown is going to need to do a better job of sealing the edge. We've talked about when it comes to, DeMarcus Lawrence does a good job on the outside. Sam Williams struggles at times. Dorrance Armstrong has struggled at times. But last week, the Lions, in what was a really bad play, was after the Noah Brown fumble. Lions are pinned back, and first play, they hit the edge, they block it up, and it's mano-a-mano. Anthony Brown has a chance to make a tackle, and it's going to be maybe a 2-yard pickup, and he can't do it. And Anthony Brown's lost a little bit of physicality in his game. So while we were being really critical of Trayvon Diggs and teams may be attacking that side, I think teams are now going to look at Anthony Brown and they're going to attack the edge. And until you prove, hey, you're going to come up and you're going to fill that side, we're going to run it right at you. And that's something this week, if the Bears look at your side and they're going to say, hey, you're not going to fill, we're going to go ahead and keep attacking that. And you cannot allow that to happen against Fields, Herbert, and Montgomery because they will gash you all afternoon long, and that is all they will do. And they killed New England with that on Monday night. They had success with Washington doing it because Washington would get caught up field as well. Cowboys, gap integrity is going to be massive in this game, but they're going to need their corners, much like you saw Jeff Okudah do a really good job against the Lions, against the Cowboys. Their corners are going to have to come up. Jaron Kearse, the safety play as well. Donovan Wilson taking good angles. The Cowboys are going to need to make sure their corners come up and play the run in this one.
I'm here for it. I want to see it, and I would say this would be the perfect game to consider benching him if he doesn't, bring the tackling like he did in 2021, because it's not going to kill you to put a backup cornerback out there, most likely.
Oh, in terms of pass coverage.
Game.
Yeah, I guess that is a fair point. Get Kelvin Joseph the run there. It's certainly they're probably less apt to want to make switches now that they're a man short with Jordan Lewis now out, and you're going to bring in Deron Bland. If you still had Lewis and then you could just move off of Anthony Brown to bring in Deron Bland, you'd probably feel better about it. But I think that's a really good point by you. And I do wonder how much the Bears surprise New England with the willingness to have Justin Fields really run the ball.
Yeah.
And because I think there was a considerable uptick in that game. And so
it went from two a game to 12.
Yeah, like he had 12 design runs on Monday night versus the Patriots, and he had only done that. He hadn't anywhere close to 12 design runs in any of the other games. So that probably caught him off guard a little bit, and that's going to help in preparation here. But I'm with you on the Antonio Brown stuff. The tackling to me was even more of a red flag and like disappointing than any of the coverage stuff.
Yes.
I'm going like, oh, what's going on here? Are you just
not a willingness to play physically whatsoever there, and he's got to change that. Defensively for the Bears, Roquan Smith. And, we talk about the Cowboys and making trades, and Smith's name is being floated out there. Robert Quinn, former Cowboy as well, is being floated out there in the trade market. If you want to trade for Roquan Smith, you're going to have to give up a ton to get him. I like making a strength, but Roquan Smith is the best player on their football team. Leads them in tackles and sacks. He is absolutely phenomenal, and this Bears defense is sneaky good. All right, they're holding opponents to under 19 points a game. They are going to present a challenge, and I thought actually Brian made a good point that I had forgotten listening to him with Sean this morning. Matt Eberflus, who was with the Cowboys for a long time, was the defensive coordinator to the Colts. If you remember, the Cowboys a couple of years ago went up to Indianapolis.
Oh, that's right.
Shut out Dak and the Cowboys.
Yeah.
So,
and ran all over him on the other side of the field.
Yes. So defensively, especially with Smith in the middle, he's a guy you're going to have to key on. They've got a good young safety as well.
Jaquan Brisker.
Yes, Brisker, and he had his first career interception. Kyler Gordon, the rookie corner out of Washington, had an interception last week. Eddie Jackson, who is a safety from Alabama, he's been a Pro Bowler as well. And then Jalen Johnson, who's another corner of theirs, who they're probably going to have locked on CeeDee Lamb. And he's been kind of in and out of the lineup this year due to injury. But this is a much better defense than you played a week ago against the Lions. The Cowboys are clearly going to want to run the football. Their front doesn't scare me outside of Robert Quinn, but you're going to have to know where Roquan Smith is at all times.
Yeah, and Roquan Smith's a great player. I love the idea of him being on the trade market, but right now there's so many dang good players on this Cowboys team that you're going to have to figure out a way to pay them. Like Malik Hooker, for example, Donovan Wilson coming up for a contract. There are so many good players. I think you need almost every draft pick that you have, especially in the first 5 rounds, to hope to continue to replace talent.
And I think people are trolling us because instead of saying Khalil Herbert, I might have accidentally said Justin Herbert, and then you said Antonio Brown, Eric, instead of Anthony Brown. So people get upset.
Oh, I said Antonio
You
Brown.
did. People get upset when you say the wrong name, and they're holding us accountable, and rightly so.
Thank you.
You should hold us accountable.
Appreciate that.
877-881-1053. Hey, we talk for a living. If we mess up when we say the wrong name, I want you to let us know.
Yeah.
You get on our ass, all right?
And
you come over here, you let us know.
And I pray that you can forgive us as well.
Please do, because we apologize. We are so sorry. Otherwise, Darnell Mooney is the guy that you got to watch out for at the receiver position, and then they're going to throw all the tight ends at you. All right, Cole Kmet's their best tight end, but they're going to play all 3 of them. And Jaron Kearse, a little bit shaky. All right, TJ Hawkinson was running away from him in that Lions game. Jaron Kearse is going to have to do a little bit better job covering the tight ends. That was a strength of his a week ago. He was not as good as we're accustomed to in coverage against the tight end. And Justin Fields, that's his safety blanket. Doesn't throw the ball downfield a ton. If he does, Mooney's going to be his guy. They brought in Equinemius St. Brown in the offseason as well. But they will play a lot of 3 tight end sets, and a lot of that is because they like the max heavy sets to run the football with. So those are things to look for when they play the Bears on Sunday.